How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video on Coaster Extra. In today's video, we are going to be operating Spinball Whizzer at Alton Towers Resort, of course, on Ride Sims 2. Now, this is a beta simulator, so not everything is final, and some things may change before this simulator is released. And also, there may be a few bugs and errors that will, of course, be resolved before it is released to the public, but just bear that in mind while watching this video. Also, just remember to leave a like and consider subscribing if you do enjoy the video. It means that you'll never miss out on another roller coaster related video like this one. Okay, now let's get into operating this coaster. So, to start it up, we need to activate the power for the ride, and we're going to do that by clicking on this flashing button down here. Then we're going to hold down R to reset the E-stop, and you can see a bar pops up on the screen for this to occur. Okay, the E-stop has now been reset, and we're going to set the system mode over to maintenance mode so that we can activate the block sections for the ride. To do this, we're going to click on the block panel and click on each of the block sections to activate them and mean that trains can run through the ride. Okay, now that we've set up the ride, we can start doing some testing, and to do this, we are going to jump right in to a time lapse. So we've just been doing some testing and everything went very smoothly. There were no errors or mechanical faults whatsoever. So this means that the ride is now ready to be open to guests. I just want to mention that in the time lapse I did add on a couple trains because 3 trains probably won't be enough when it gets busy and lots of guests are in the queue. But yes, we can now open the queue to guests. So we're going to go up to this button at the top and click it, and now the queue is open. And I'm going to just cut to when we have some more guests in the queue. Okay, so we've got lots of guests in the queue line now, which means we can start running the ride with guests on it. This first train needs to be dispatched, however, as the restraints have already been closed and therefore guests cannot load onto it. So we're going to dispatch this train at the start of the station using the spacebar. So when we click that spacebar, there it is. That train will move out. We also need to close the restraints of the one that's coming in and open the restraints to the one, well, we're going to close the restraints for the one that's about to come out and open the restraints for the one that's just came in. So now, once we start letting some trains in and open the restraints, we can start loading people on. Now, because the station's all been jammed up after the testing, we can't load guests on quite yet. So once these trains move out of the way of the station and trains start cycling around the track, we'll be able to start loading guests on. So we just need to send these trains out for basically another test cycle. But yeah, this simulator is a moderate simulator in difficulty level. And I think that's quite accurate because we'll see when we start loading guests into the station how it's actually quite a challenge. It's very different to other stations, and it's accurate of the station in real life. It's a moving station, so the trains roll through pretty much the whole station. So yeah, it basically means that guests load while the trains are moving, of course at a very slow speed. But yeah, so that's very accurate because this is what happens in the simulator as well. Another thing that I just want to mention with this simulator that I really think is quite a cool feature is that the guests actually walk through the queue line, which is actually unique to this simulator, and I quite like that. I think they should implement that with other simulators because it's quite a nice, feature. I think it works quite well. So, yeah, it just adds a little bit of extra detail. Okay, so the train's coming into the station now, so we can open up the restraints. And now we can load on some riders. So to do this, we are going to press the right arrow key when the button comes up that lets us do it. Oh, hold on. We can't load guests because we're in maintenance mode. Oh, how did I not realise that? Oh, so annoying. Okay, well, we need to change the system mode to normal. And now we'll be able to start loading it. I was going to say, it was a bit confusing. Now the buttons have come out. So we can press the right arrow key to load some guests onto the ride. And that's from the main queue. There's also a single rider queue. And that is loaded on using the left arrow key. Okay, so we're going to add some more main queue people on. There we go. We'll also have to add some single riders on as well so that they don't get annoyed that they're in the queue. Okay, so we are pressing the up and down arrow keys to open and close the restraints. And let's load some single riders on. There we go. So the single rider queue's gone down a little bit. It's clearly very busy because there's 66 people in the queue. That's from when I was letting people just fill into the queue without running the ride. Okay, so that train is now sat in the station. And I'm going to just do this process now in the background because you know what all the buttons to press are and everything is. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the ride while I do so. Now, this is, of course, located at Alton Towers. It's called Spinball Whizzer, like I mentioned earlier. And it's manufactured by Maurer. It opened in 2004 and it's 55 feet tall. So not the tallest of rides, but, you know, tall enough. Oh, look, we've got a little pop-up at the bottom. So there's some bad weather. And now only 3 people can be loaded into one train at any one time. This is another feature that makes it a moderate simulator. I think this is actually quite a cool feature too. It works. You know, it adds a bit more variety to the ride and it just adds a bit more, you know, it's a bit fun to operate compared to some others. But yeah, no, I do enjoy playing this simulator. It's a good fun one. And of course it is in beta, so it hasn't been released to the public yet at the time of recording. This may be released to you when you watch this video. It may not, depending on the date. Just go onto Ride Sims and check. But yeah, it's 55 feet tall, so not the most tall. It's more of a family coaster, but it's got some threading elements and it's got no inversions too. So it is a kind of a family coaster in that sense. But yeah, no, the trains spin, so it, you know, it's still quite intense because, you know, you'll feel quite disorientated. And unfortunately, I never actually got to go on this ride. I've only been to Alton Towers once. I would love to go again at some point, but I've only been once so far. And yeah, it is a very, very good park. But unfortunately, because of the queue times, I didn't get to ride this ride, which is a shame. I would have liked to try it out and got a credit, but, you know, sometimes you can't, and that's just something you've got to accept when you go to theme parks. So, yeah, it's a shame, but at least, you know, at least I got on some other rides like Smiler and, you know, Nemesis. Those are really good rides too. Hopefully some of those get added to Ride Sims. I mean, Smiler's already actually in Ride Sims. I might operate that at some point. But Nemesis isn't. I'd quite like to see that. That would be pretty cool. So, yeah, and basically, this queue is getting massive. This is what it was like when I went to Alton Towers. Loads of people were going for this ride. It's quite near the front of the park, so I think it draws a lot of people there towards the start of the day and end of the day as they're leaving. They think, oh, I might as well catch a ride on Spinball. You know? I'm just going to talk through the process of adding a train because I did that in the time lapse because that's going pretty fast. You probably didn't see how I did it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the system mode over to maintenance mode here at the bottom and click the add train button. Yeah, it's as simple as that. That train will automatically start testing and then, you know, it's ready to be, you know, loaded with guests. God, this queue is not going down, is it? Hopefully that added train will help with that. You know, it'll help spread out the queue line and make it better. But yeah, no, because these trains are only 4-seater, They are quite low on capacity. But that doesn't mean it can't eat through people, because, you know, this ride kind of just dispatches trains constantly, as with all Maurer Spinning Coasters. I've actually been on one Maurer Spinning Coaster, and that's Dragon's Fury at Chessington, and lots of people say that's superior, so I'm at least happy to have ridden that. And they are fun rides. I like the spinning aspect of it, you know, feels very disorientating, but it's good fun. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please remember to leave a like and consider subscribing so that you never miss another video like this. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video, so I really hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.